One day, I was sitting alone and contemplating life, and I asked myself, am I dedicating each and every waking day of my life to something I truly enjoy? The answer was no. And from there, I imagined the best version of myself, and I asked, what would that person be doing in the world? Being given an opportunity to do something you love is one of the best things that could happen to anyone. It's happened to me, and so I would like to briefly introduce myself to the world and start something interesting. My name is pronounced Takudzwa Tulani, and I'm someone you may title a creator in the future. I'm driven by telling and creating things that don't exist. I gravitate mostly towards fantasy and science fiction. More on that in a bit. I have a vision, one that is big enough it makes me wake up and work. This vision is something that excites me when I think about it. And so in this introductory video, one reason you could use to stay and become a member of this community I'm building is that you want to see this vision come to life in its full force. But first, I'd like to say I'm starting this channel not to become famous or to become a YouTuber who gets hundreds of views and likes, but as a way to document my journey as I follow my passions. I don't expect these videos to get thousands of views and likes, since this is not what I'm chasing. I mean, it'll do 10 views and 2 likes at best, and to be honest, that's fine by me. I would prefer getting better and growing exponentially instead of randomly blowing up. Essentially, I'm documenting my professional career as a way to look back and analyze what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, and how I can improve. Here's a little bit about me that I would like to share with the world at the moment. When I was young, I used to enjoy drawing cartoons on paper. I was inspired by shows like Dragon Ball and Naruto, mainly because they were the only shows being broadcasted in the country that I resided in. From being a fan of drawing these characters, my friends and I began creating and drawing our own characters and eventually creating our own universe. This was all in primary school and it ended in 7th grade. From then, I was trying to convert the paper drawings and unique characters we created into 2D animated projects. But that didn't happen due to financial blockages that stopped me from getting equipment. I developed the universe we created into written words while the images lingered in my head. While I was in high school, I realized how tough it was to get equipment to bring my universe into life. And so, at the age of 16, I set my path to pursue science, technology, and eventually engineering. The plan was to get a well-paying job after graduating from engineering and then use that money to start my own film studio. When it came to the science and tech world, I was fascinated by it, and actually I was good at it and enjoyed it. But something felt missing. It felt like I wasn't following my passion, as if I wasn't living life the way I intended it. What made it worse was that I kept envisioning stories of this universe that we created, and those visions are still very alive in my head and are screaming to be let out into the world. When I think about it, I get excited to execute this vision. I'm doing this to also inspire others, and I hope to positively impact the world with what I can do. One of my main goals is to own a film and distribution company that is centered around my original works. A studio that houses creativity and knows no boundaries at the highest quality possible. At this point in time, I have no idea if people would like my work or not. But I strongly believe once the vision I have in my head has been executed, it will be an amazing thing. And I guess right now, it's all a matter of taking my word and rooting for me to win. Now you may be wondering how I'm going to execute this vision. So let me break it down for you. I have a bunch of really cool ideas in my head. I've created a universe similar to Star Wars, Marvel, and DC, but extremely different. and you'll see why in the future. This universe consists of people with extraordinary abilities from other planets, and their stories can be told in a multitude of genres ranging from fantasy, sci-fi, comedy, or any genre that my future collaborators can execute in. But in order for that to happen, I need to first set the foundation and blueprint for this universe. Since this universe is so perfect to me, you'll probably see it in like 10 to 15 years from now. In the meantime, this is what I'm going to do. And this is probably the last time I'm going to announce something before I actually do it. Phase 1. I'm currently limited with the equipment I have, and so I'll start with simple illustrations of a decor universe. Not the one that I have in mind, but something totally different. I am learning to illustrate digitally and then turn those illustrations into 2D animations, since at the moment, this is the best and most realistic way I can express myself. So the first phase of this channel is me doing silly stuff on animation and illustration. This is part of the plan. Phase 2. Once I've learned how to express myself through drawing digitally, animating, writing, and editing, I would like to convert my work into 3D projects. Here, I'll be messing with 3D software such as Lumion to satisfy my fascination for architectural visualization known as ArcViz as I start to create different worlds. Phase 3. While I'm slowly but surely working with illustration and animation, I am also working on short films shot on mobile phones. I am taking videos of the cities I go to, natural landscapes, transportation systems, and how society operates. Why does this matter? Well, remember the long-term goal is creating fantasy worlds, and learning about our own world and documenting it allows me to bend it however I want in the future. So I'm practicing mobile storytelling in the form of short films, commercials, perhaps music videos, basically anything you can make with a smartphone. And this is done with the intention to improve my storytelling and composition skills. Phase 4. At this point, I would know how to express ideas from simple sketches and make animatics out of them. I would know how to properly write my stories the way I envision them, and I would also know how to direct stories well. The next step would be to utilize industry standard software such as Houdini by Side Effects and Nuke by The Foundry to breathe life into my creations for live action projects. With this software and my experience, my creations would become 10 times better. I really get excited when I think about this phase, because this is where it all starts to make sense for the general audience. And this is where my work will start to see tremendous improvement. And of course, this will be the longest phase to execute the vision. I'd also like to point out that artificial intelligence is a tool that can definitely accelerate my vision in the future. But before utilizing that tool, it's very important for me to lay the foundation for my vision before using that tool to its full capabilities. Phase 5. I would like to explore a bit of game development from my original creations using software such as Unreal Engine. Hopefully at this point, I'll be working with people who understand my vision and perhaps have a small team. Phase 6. I would experiment with converting my work into other forms of artworks such as books, clothing, toys, live exhibitions, VR and AR experiences, and many more experiences that I'm not aware of at the moment. This phase will be me venturing into other avenues of expressing ideas and artwork. Once I've grasped how to do this in ways that produce quality products, this will be the beginning of my film and multimedia company. And I hope to employ people who can continue growing this vision. This is when I'll bring the vision I have in mind into life, that 10 to 15 years time stretch, approximately. Throughout any of these phases, I plan on doing a bit of documentary filmmaking to express my optimistic and positive views on the world. I feel like documentary filmmaking is such an impactful way of telling stories and a tool that I'll be privileged enough to use. I am free to try out new things and experiment. I am ready to embrace failure and learn from it because I know this vision is a huge mountain and climbing it will have many tough moments, but the top will be absolutely worth it. Well, this is a short introduction of myself, goals, and ambition, and the future work ahead of us. Talking about this has been a little bit therapeutic for me, and I hope the world catches up with the ideas that I'm about to bring to life. I know this video is long, and if you've watched this far and want to support my vision, I truly appreciate it. And to my future self watching this a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, I am so proud of us, dude. And I know we won't stop until the vision is finally executed. And remember, it only gets better from here. See you next time.